Hello, Digger fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Mines MidWeek with head volleyball coach Jamie Skadeland. Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
A tough opening weekend for your team this past weekend. You had some very tough competition in St. Paul, Minnesota. You guys lost 3-0 to then number 1 Concordia, St. Paul. A tough, very epic 3-2 loss to now number 8 Wayne State. And a 3-1 loss to number 20 Wingate, who also moved up the rankings. I believe they're 16th now. But you closed with a 3-0 win over Hillsdale. So how do you think your team did this past weekend against some of the better competition in the country?
Well, it's kind of the test against the best. Kind of like I talked about last week, the true colors are really going to come out as far as what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses. And I think with this tournament, it showed all of those things. It shows where our strength is, and offensively and defensively, and then yesterday's practice, what exactly we needed to focus on before this weekend's tournament. I mean, these teams are they're really solid. They have a lot of leadership. They have a lot of upperclassmen, and kind of like I spoke about last week, there's just not a lot of errors that get made. And going into this tournament, I had a lot of freshmen starting, and there was a lot of nerves. And we didn't really settle in until the fourth match. And once we settled in, it was kind of interesting to see like how we could control the match more. But like I've always said, there's a lot of talent on this team, and we just have to settle in and figure out how we're going to connect the dots. And once we do that, teams like that, I think are beatable.
Speaking of the fourth match versus Hillsdale, you mentioned you guys kind of got into a groove. That's a pretty fair assessment. Things just kind of clicked in that match.
Absolutely, and we played with more confidence. I don't think we were worried about what ranking was across the net from us. It was just truly about, let's just take care of our side and see what happens when we do that. And I really felt like we had control of the momentum the entire match. And I really had some freshmen that kind of settled in and played really well.
Great. I think it's safe to say that your upperclassmen kind of picked up where they left off last year. Melanie Wanamaker had a tremendous weekend with 70 kills, 4.67 kills per set, and a 400 attack percentage. Sarah Pekarik finished second on the team with 52 kills of her own, 3.47 kills per set. And Hannah Margheim, 76 digs, 5.07 digs per set, including career high 37 in Wayne State.
Mm-hmm.
It appears as though those three are playing really well to start the year.
Absolutely, and it starts with how they practice. I mean, those three are truly leading the practice and really holding an expectation for all the underclassmen, and how that not only do we need to train, and then how that carries over to the match. Those three consistently played well all weekend. The only concern I have is that they're trying to take too much on themselves, and so I'm really looking for the rest of everyone else that's playing to just do their part. So it kind of relieves Mel, it relieves Hannah, it relieves Sarah, just to focus on their job. I mean, Melanie, even against Concordia, was unstoppable. I mean, she offensively had a great game. And I have to mention Hannah. I think Hannah had the best match I've ever seen her play against Wayne State in her career. I mean, she truly just played with a purpose, a defensive purpose, and it was kind of awesome to see. And Sarah's she's our 0-1, and she is getting the ball a lot, and she's just going to have to keep finding ways to be creative and score. But I think she's kind of getting a taste of what Jackie Stabell went through, having that double block right and ready for her, and how she's still going to score. So, but even those three learned a lot and improved over the weekend. So.
Great. As a former setter yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that you're a little tougher on your setters than some other coaches may be. So I'd like to talk about Danielle Johnson-Hazelwood for a second. She was a second-team All-MAC performer last season during her true freshman season.
Mm-hmm.
And she had 187 assists over the weekend, including 60 in the loss to Wayne State. How did you think she played this weekend?
Danielle played good. She is a extremely athletic and talented setter. I'm waiting for her to kind of unleash and just take over, because I've seen the moments of last year, even as a freshman, where she did that, and things that she's capable of doing are really at a higher elite level, and she just kind of needs to find that place, that confidence, that just decide what does she want to do, what does she want to accomplish while she's here. She's still very young, but she's had a lot of experience just in her last year and a half. So I am probably a little bit more tough on her, but that's only because I know what her potential is. And so once she unleashes and just takes over and doesn't need me anymore, then I know we're where we want to be.
It's easy for anybody that watched any of your matches last year to see that she's got tremendous upside and tons of talent, and so
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing where the rest of her career goes.
Me too.
Your squad will return to Golden to host the Courtyard in Residence and by Marriott Ordigger Volleyball Classic this weekend. This is something that's kind of grown as you've grown as a head coach. So how specifically has the tournament grown over your career here?
I think specifically competition level, just the teams that we're getting to come here. Not only is Golden a great place for out-of-state teams to bring their team to come and spend a weekend, but just at the competition level, I mean, we are trying to create a tournament that hosts some of the top teams in the country, and so everybody that comes here gets this competitive level and kind of ups their schedule a little bit, and I think we're creating just that. And for us, we have some regional play, which are always important matches for the end of the season rankings, and it's just really improved. And I feel like just with our administration and our staff, I mean, we really put on a good tournament to kind of host everybody. So.
Speaking of the tournament this weekend, your team will be facing a pair of in-region opponents in Texas Women's University and Charleston State on Friday and Saturday, and then also a pair of GNAC teams in Western Oregon and Central Washington. First, I want to talk about the teams from Texas. What are you planning on seeing from those two teams?
We're going to see two teams that need a regional win, just like we are to them. It's just such a big match, and unfortunately the way our conference works is the only way for us to get this regional play is now. Second weekend, when every team is still kind of figuring things out, figuring out lineups, figuring out who's going to be what. It's now, and unfortunately this win or loss is so important to the end of the season rankings. There's no other time that we can do it like other conferences do in the middle of the season or maybe towards the end. So this is just such an important game, and we did see Tarleton last year and got a win there, but they're a tough team and they've got a really talented, specifically front row that we're going to have to get past. But I think players like Mel, Sarah, Hannah, they understand the importance of this match. I think they're going to really step up and hopefully really step up for the occasion and make some big plays.
Okay, and then now I want to talk about the teams from the GNAC, Western Oregon and Central Washington. No regional crossover right there, but a couple of good teams coming in.
Yeah, and it's still as important to get that win. And some of the RMAC schools saw those teams this last weekend, and looks like they put up a fight against them, and we just need to do the same. I mean, all four matches are going to be tough. I don't think we're going to get one single match to kind of go through the motions. I mean, we really have to be ready.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck to you and your
Thank you.
squad this weekend.
Thanks.
Fans, just a reminder, the Ordigger volleyball team, now ranked number 19 in the country, will face Western Oregon on Friday at 3 p.m., Texas Women's on Friday at 7:30, Central Washington on Saturday at noon, and Charleston State on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. at Lockridge Arena in the Courtyard in Residence and by Marriott Ordigger Volleyball Classic. That's all for this week. We'll see you next time.